Okay, so what if I told you the secret to mastering today's insane financial markets wasn't buried in some complex algorithm, but in a text that's thousands of years old? We're diving into Trading with Faith, a book with a pretty wild idea, that the key to modern high-stakes trading might just be ancient wisdom. So the author kicks things off with this huge, provocative question. Can ancient scripture really help a trader navigate the Forex market? You know, the one that moves 6.6 times trillion dollars a day? It's this incredible collision of two worlds you'd never expect to see together, faith and high-frequency finance.
But let's be real, for most people who jump into Forex, the journey ends right here, with a completely blown account. And that brings up the real question the book tries to answer. Why do so many smart, technically skilled traders end up failing?
Well, the book argues that the answer has nothing to do with not having the right charts or indicators. The real fight, the one that matters, it's all in your head. It's a psychological trap. And the way out, believe it or not, might just be found in that ancient wisdom.
So, what really moves the markets? It's not just economic data. It's raw, powerful human emotion. It's fear, it's greed, it's hope, and yeah, it's despair. And these are the forces that can just completely hijack even the most brilliant technical trading plan.
So, if the problem is human psychology, well, the solution might come from a source that's been documenting it for millennia. The entire approach of this book is to take these timeless principles from the Bible and apply them directly to mastering the emotional chaos of trading. Let's see what that actually looks like.
Okay, I want you to picture Noah. He's floating in that ark for months with no idea when the flood is going to end. It's a perfect metaphor for a modern trader, right? Just staring at a volatile screen, waiting and waiting for the right market conditions. Just like nature has its seed time and harvest, the market has its bull and bear cycles.
And that leads us right into the first huge principle from the book, the principle of patience, pulled directly from Noah's story. Now, this isn't just about sitting on your hands. It's the strategic art of waiting for confirmation before you make your move.
So here's how that ancient story gets turned into a modern strategy. First, you test the waters. Just like Noah sent out the doves, you use a demo account or really small positions to see what's out there. Second, you wait for confirmation. Noah waited for that olive leaf. For a trader, that means waiting for at least two different signals to line up before you even think about entering a trade. And finally, you have to respect the market's season. You wouldn't plant seeds in the middle of winter, right? So don't try to force a bull market strategy in a bear market.
And this isn't just theory. The book shares a story about a trader named Sarah. Instead of just jumping into a really volatile British pound-Japanese yen pair, she just waited. She waited for two clear technical signals to align perfectly. And her patience paid off big time, 120 pip gain. The key takeaway? She didn't chase the market, she waited for the right season to arrive.
Okay, so that's patience. The second major principle is all about preparation and risk management. And this one comes from the story of Joseph in Egypt and his whole interpretation of feast and famine.
Joseph's huge insight was that cycles are totally inevitable. 7 years of incredible abundance were going to be followed by 7 years of famine. There was no way around it. And in trading, that is an absolute truth. A winning streak, a market feast, is always followed by a losing streak, the famine. The only question is, are you ready for it?
And if you want to see what this looks like in the real world, check out this comparison from the 2008 financial crisis. Fund A, let's call them the grasshopper, got super greedy during the good times. They cranked up their leverage, took on massive risks, and got almost totally wiped out. Then you have Fund B, the Joseph. They kept strict discipline, never risked more than 2% on a trade, and guess what? They not only survived the crash, they actually profited from it. It's just a night and day difference in mindset.
So how do you actually do this? Well, the book gives a super practical rule, the 20% reserve rule. Just like Joseph stored away 1/5 of the grain during the feast years, a trader should take 20% of all their profits and put them in a totally separate fund. This isn't trading capital. It is your trading survival fund for when that inevitable market famine hits.
So when you put it all together, when you combine Noah's incredible patience with Joseph's genius for preparation, you get more than just a couple new strategies. What you get is a fundamental shift in your entire mindset. You stop seeing trading as this chaotic random game of chance, and you start seeing it as a disciplined act of stewardship.
You know, this quote from the book of Matthew just perfectly captures the two paths you can take in trading. There's the wide road, which is impulsive, emotional, and easy to get on, but it leads to a blown account. And then there's the narrow road. It's the harder path of discipline, patience, and risk management. And, according to the book, that's exactly why so few traders ever find it.
When you really boil it all down, success comes back to these 4 core ideas. It's not about being the smartest person in the room or having the fanciest algorithm. It's about cultivating patience as your greatest asset. It's realizing that wisdom is more important than raw intelligence. It's practicing careful stewardship and finding some kind of faith to keep you stable in a world that is anything but.
And all of this leaves us with one last big question. This book makes a case for the Bible as a source of timeless principles for navigating the market psychology. Now, whether you agree with that specific source or not, it forces you to ask yourself a really important question. Beyond the charts, beyond the news headlines, where do you find the wisdom and the discipline to guide your own decisions?